All right, guys, welcome back. I was going to do this outside, but there was a dog barking and all kind of noise and stuff, so figured the quality of the audio was probably more important than the scenery there. So I'm going to show y'all some equipment and what our jobs look like, what our trucks look like, what our crews look like, stuff like that. But this is really kind of an intro of what we're doing. So I'm Chris Francis, board certified master arborist. I have a master of science in arboriculture and urban forestry. I run a multi-million dollar professional tree business, and I want to share with you how I do it. I want to explain how this will work. I'm going to pick out a topic for each video to speak on, and all these are going to help you build your tree service from scratch to a million plus. There really is no limit. We're going to talk about processes, safety, procedures, sales, consulting, equipment, building a solid team, hiring, keeping the right people, delegating, finances, proper tree care, software, taxes, contracts, so much more. But I'm going to try to take one nugget at a time instead of mixing everything in together. So this video is really just to introduce you to this channel and how it works, tell you who I am, stuff like that. So there is an accompanying website. It's pretty easy. It's treebusiness.com. The whole purpose is to teach you how to run a tree business. So there's plenty of people out there that will show you how to climb, rig, attach to a crane, fell trees, all sorts of relevant material, right? Nothing wrong with that. We're going to discuss some of that, but I'm not going to teach you how to cut trees. I want to show you how to run an actual business like a business, which is so much more than just cutting trees. I don't want to be your consultant or your business coach. Could you use one? Probably, but it isn't me. People send me messages all the time asking me things about business, high-level tree questions. They're trying to hire me to come to their operation, trying to hire me as their coach, come help them out with things. I don't want to do that. I'm flattered. I really am. I like to help people, especially business owners, tree service owners, professional arborists. Okay, I do like to help, but that's why I'm doing this. I don't have time to talk to everybody individually. I'm not ruling out some type of back and forth interaction in the future, maybe a Zoom meeting, live event, something like that. But I have worked really hard to be able to have the business running smoothly without me there. And I'm already tying up time doing this. There are only so many hours in the day. And I want to be able to spend time with my family. I want to be able to do the things that I really want to do. And I still, have a business to run, even though I'm not out there on the crew day in and day out. There's still things for me to do. But I know I won't have time to have those personal conversations and make those connections with everybody. So I just want to be upfront with that. So another thing is, I'm going to use a lot of male pronouns because let's face it, it's largely a man's industry. So there are some women, and I don't want to discourage you if you're a woman, but for flow, I'm not going to say his or her, him. Every time I talk, we're going to talk about tree guys, mostly men, right? So if you're female, just know that you are included too, and you're loved. If you weren't tough as hell, you wouldn't be in this industry to begin with. So just tough it out, and if you want to replace him with her, problem solved, right? Maybe we'll do a video just for the girls one day. I think there are four main audience members. The person that is thinking or wanting to start his own tree service, hasn't done it yet, they're just thinking about it. The person that is already running a small tree service and looking to scale or improve. The person that is already running a million plus tree service that is looking for ways to improve. And I know that if something like this existed, I would be all over it. And lastly, the guy that is in a similar industry, just along for the ride, something like landscaping, plumbing, construction, HVAC, painting, whatever, because most everything discussed here applies to just about every trade business out there, not just arboriculture. But certainly the tree business is my primary focus. And some of the things I talk about will be strictly arboriculture. If you're from another industry and along for the ride, I'm glad you're here, and I know you'll get a lot out of it. But for the technical things about your trade, you will need to find another guru for that. Now, I have to warn you, I'm a safety Nazi. So there are some basic safety rules that you must follow and your people must follow. And if you're complaining that you can't keep good workers, or all of your clients care about is the cheapest price, but your guys don't wear helmets and harnesses or even have a shirt on, like you have to look within. How could you expect for things to go any different than they already are? In fact, just about everything is going to start with you, the owner. That's right. Not the difficult client, not the knucklehead worker, not the prima donna climber, not the nutty neighbor, not the nagging wife, not the guy that won't show up or the crew that doesn't care. Nope. This starts with you. And it is all about you. And if you have all those problems, it is actually your issue, not theirs. Once you learn that, you're going to be able to lead from the front and turn your organization into something unimaginable. But Chris, you don't know my market. You don't know how things are here. You don't know what we have to put up with where I am. You don't know about the economy. Yeah, I've heard it all before. So guess what? You aren't special. Your area isn't special. Your guys aren't special. It's the same everywhere you go. In fact, if you got up and moved your whole business to a different area and started over, you're going to encounter the same issues. Why? Because you are the problem. Dave Ramsey says it best. The problem with your company is not the economy. It is not the lack of opportunity. It is not your team. The problem is you. That is the bad news. The good news is, if you're the problem, you're also the solution. You're the one person you can change the easiest. You can decide to grow your abilities, your character, your education, and your capacity. You can decide who you want to be and get about the business of becoming that person. So that's from a great book called Entree Leadership. I think it's a really awesome book, whether you read it or listen to it. If you do the Audible version, then Dave Ramsey is reading it. If you don't know who he is, you should. But he's got a very powerful voice, and it's good. You should definitely read it. So I think even before that, though, you should check out the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because before you go lead a team of people and try to run a business, you need to work on yourself. Become a highly effective person, not just for your business, but for your life. As a father, as a husband, as a community leader, as a coach for your kid's sports team, as a friend, as a son, just as a person in general. So take control of your life and how you react to things. All right, this is going to turn you off, maybe even piss you off. But here it goes, because you need to hear it. If you haven't started your business yet, then stop. Wait, don't do it. Okay, don't do it yet anyway. If you have just barely started, then pump the brakes. If you're rolling along pretty well, then hold off on expansion, just for a little bit while you work on yourself. I wish I had done this. It would have made things so much smoother, not just in my business, but at home and, with my wife and my kids, and with my extended family, my friends, everywhere. If I filmed this video even a year ago, I would have told you to just get out there and do something. Dive right in. Just do it already. But that would have been horrible advice. It has taken a little bit of time to figure out yourself, figuring out how to talk to people and lead, then make a plan with the end in mind. You're going to be so much better for it. Now, hey, if you're too deep in already, don't worry. It's not too late, but you have to start today. And that means stepping back for a minute. Okay? It might mean stepping back, putting the growth plans on hold, or even taking a little bit of time off. It might mean hiring a coach or going to counseling. It definitely means you're going to be reading some books and going through some uncomfortable exercises. If you don't like reading, guess what? You can listen to almost every book you need on Audible. So that's pretty awesome. You can be driving down the road reading a book. I do this all the time. I don't have the physical book. I'm just have it in my ear. So I'm not a very good reader. It's not that I can't read. It puts me to sleep. I'm like narcoleptic. I'm like zonk, right? So, but Audible, I can listen for hours on end and it's great. But so much of this is about you, what you do, how you interact, what you say, how you say it, how you connect with people, the standards you expect. Here's a little tidbit. You get what you accept. That's right. You get what you accept. Think about it. If you let someone get away with something, then you have just let everyone know that that behavior is acceptable. It's not about the rules that you have written, your policies that you have in place and everything else. That's not a bad thing, right? You still need that. But if you let somebody get away with something, then that is what is going to become the behavior in your company. So it'll become the new norm. If you let someone routinely come in late, everyone will start coming in late. Why wouldn't they? If you let someone smoke weed on your job, everyone's going to smoke weed on your job. If you let someone speed in your company truck, everyone will be speeding in your trucks. If you let someone wear spikes while pruning, everyone in your organization will do it. You also have to lead by example. You're not special just because you are the boss. If you fly the bucket without a harness, you're saying very loudly and clearly, this is the way to do it. People see and do. If you run a saw without chaps or saw pants, you're sending the message that it is okay to do. They're watching you. You 100% must do the things that you're asking of your team. If you say one thing but do another, you're a hypocrite, and they will not get behind you. The absolute worst thing you could do is to give yourself special privileges. If you want everyone to wear a helmet, you better have yours on 100% of the time. Don't say, oh, well, there's nothing here, or I know what I'm doing, or I don't have to, I'm just here for a minute, or I'm the owner. Absolutely not. Those are excuses and laziness, and you will get the same thing out of your people because you just communicated to them that if you don't want to follow the safety rules, then just make up excuses. Is that what you want? Now, here's the thing. Are you perfect? No. You will make mistakes. Own up to those mistakes. Don't weasel out of something and make excuses. Own it, acknowledge it, promise to do better. Okay, move on. And you will get people to do the same if you do that, right? So you want to be the one that is saying, hey, I screwed up. Okay. And when you do that, people hear that, they respect it, and they understand that you're not perfect. Nobody expects you to be perfect. But when you say that to somebody, you say, I'm sorry. You say, I messed up. They're going to hear that and they're going to appreciate that, but they're also going to do the same. And so if you can put that into the culture of your organization to where you have people that are admitting their faults, that they are able to take accountability for things, and they're able to move on and get past that, then you're going to be so much better for that. So as you're going through this journey, you're going to figure out your strengths and your weaknesses. And one of the things you'll want to do, and in many cases you need to do, is to get better at certain things, such as communication, leadership, etc. But one of the big aha moments will come when you don't realize, let me start over. One of the big aha moments will come when you realize that certain areas of weakness don't need improvement. They need delegation. Okay, did you understand that? So just because you're weak in an area doesn't mean that you have to have improvement in that area. It might be an area that you can just delegate to someone that is good in that area. So this can be true for soft skills and hard skills. Something as simple as tree climbing. I'm not very good at that, so I can have somebody else do that. I can bring value to the company somewhere else. My tree climber might not be very good at managing a crew. So I've definitely experienced that where the natural, process was to have our tree climber, manage the crew. But it turns out like our tree climber was really good tree climbing, but he wasn't good at managing the crew. So he can stick to climbing and let somebody else run the job. Nothing wrong with that. Someone else might excel at sales, but suck at paperwork. It might very well be that you suck at managing or finances or getting the team excited or whatever. We can have someone else do that for us. We don't have to be great at everything. We don't even have to be good at everything. We need to find our few strengths and excel at them. So I can't stand the thought of filling out tax forms, so I have an accountant do that. I can process payroll, but I don't love doing it, and it bogs me down, keeps me from doing other things. So I have somebody else do that. I'm really good at sales. But if I'm doing that all day, I can't do the other things that I need to be doing. And someone else that isn't quite as good at it can still do that and it still makes sense. So we'll get into that conundrum in another video. But for now, know that you have to figure yourself out, figure out how you can improve at certain things, and also figure out what makes sense to delegate out to someone that does it better than you do. One caveat is that you have to figure out the numbers. If you're not a numbers guy, you're going to go out of business. Yeah, I said that. If you're not a numbers guy, you're going to go out of business. The language of business is numbers. So you can have others, be doing the number crunching for you, but you have to be able to check their work and you have to make your own calculations. So you have to be able to look at the finances. I can tell you plenty of stories of businesses that are run into the ground because the owners were not watching their numbers closely enough. It's I can tell you tons of stories about that. It's just time and time again where somebody has delegated something off to somebody and said, "Here, figure this out," and then somebody can just run their business right into the ground. So, speaking of numbers, it is important to not only know those numbers in the present or pull a report of something that happened in the past, like a profit and loss statement, but you want to set some goals so you can figure out how to get there. A common goal is to have gross revenue of $1 million. So we're going to talk about just that. Be sure to watch the next video to learn how to make $1 million in the tree business. All right, see you there.